Peter Sweden here. So today I'm in Manchester with, you probably saw the video from a few weeks ago where the black guy who schooled Antifa lady at the march against extremism in Manchester. So I'm now in Manchester here with him to do an interview, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Please leave a like, share this with all your friends and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Thank you very much for coming. And well, I think the first question everyone wants to know is, well, I was interviewing an Antifa lady, and when you came up and gave her a scolding, what everyone probably wants to know now is what made you do it.
That march was very important to me. It was almost like Mecca, literally, ironically. I had to go, meant a lot, got 2 young daughters, so what they were talking about was quite important. I felt the visual was, I could see why they wanted to do it, but it's not answering any issues. So for me to go to that march was brilliant. I've seen the negative aspects, as in the Antifa. I was stood where I was situated, they were on my right hand side, hurling smoke bombs, bottles, abuse, calling people Nazi.
I was actually inside that crowd with Antifa there while the marchers were kettled inside a tunnel by the police. So it was a bit rough out there.
Yeah, it was all unnecessary. And I was also looking at banners with swastika crossed out and Nazi word everywhere. So once the march had finished, people were just dispersing and didn't really know what to do with themselves. Yeah. I was on my own, a free spirit, so I thought I'd just walk round, literally just have a wander and see what the different factions and what's being said. As I was walking up to yourself, I'd noticed you were filming. Didn't want to engage in any way. I just wanted to see what was being said. And it was only when she said, tarring everyone with the same brush. Everyone in that march is EDL.
She called you a Nazi
yes.
on the video as a black guy or mixed race guy. She actually called you a Nazi. What do you think of that?
Lunacy in itself, mate, isn't it? I mean, you know, do I look like a Nazi? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that. It just shows where her head is at, really. But just to call anyone a Nazi.
They all had the same slogans: Nazi, racist, white supremacy, far-right.
KKK, and it's like everyone there wasn't representative of that. You know, I left my white hood at home. I'm sorry, I should have brought it with me. It's insane.
And it's this Antifa lady. She said that you were, quote, a traitor to your own cause, which you probably know what she meant by that. She meant you were basically a race traitor, more or less.
Well, yeah.
What she meant with that.
Well,
what do you think?
My first thought is, what's my own sort? Do I have to come from a sort? Am I not a human being? I mean, that's the thing. So she is trying to protect me, but she's just put me in the box that she's trying to release me from at the same time, because she's just basically not said a racist thing, but keeping me in that mentality where I should be thinking for my own sort here. I shouldn't be thinking for the general populace. I don't think we're in a racist society. I think we're in a society where people just want to get on with their lives. But people are, no matter what the skin colour, afraid of approaching anyone now because of the political correctness, because of the boxes they try and constantly put you in, whether you're feminist, whether you're gay, whether you're this, whether you're that, and you try and step out of that and you just get told to put back in it, and it's just lunacy.
No, political correctness must be smashed.
Got to be.
It's holding everything back.
It's stifling everyone, and you've only got to think how many more attacks before people do start to see it.
What does it feel for you as a local Mancunian? How did it affect you personally, the terror attack?
To see it in Manchester come to my hometown, it does make me think quite fearful of the future. Very fearful. Particularly when you've got a government and leaders that are telling you to basically go back to sleep and don't worry about it, it's all fine. We'll just hold a little vigil. and we'll be okay. We'll set off a few candles, put a few flowers down, and
because that has worked so well the last year, where all the terror attacks that happened.
And then these very same leaders will get in the cars, go to the nice gated communities where they don't have to deal with it. And then I look at the other side of it. I think, well, you know, these are terror attacks through the immigrants that are coming in, or even homegrown, but they've still got the ideology that's coming from, you know, immigrants that are coming in, refugees.
Yeah.
And I think, well, going back to the numbers game again, what we were talking about before, we've got a hell of a lot of homeless in this country. It seems that people that are just coming straight in, getting straight into the system, getting all the ticks, sign here, there's your money, there's your house, there's that. You know, I'm all for helping everyone, but surely for any country to be in that position, you've got to help your own first.
Do you think radical Islam has to be met with radical action? What do you think the government should do to potential terrorists?
Well, I mean, if they're terrorists, it goes without saying, you get them out of the country, surely. I mean, that is a common sense approach. I mean, if I was a supposed terrorist and I went into someone else's country, I wouldn't expect them to harbour me and under political correctness let me walk round with all the flags that are totally insulting that country. Is this a plan? You know, because it's that farcical and that lunacy what they're actually doing. It defies logic. So it does make you think that they know the consequences. So what's the end game for them? And we need to look at these people who are making these big decisions and hold them to account for these decisions that they're making.
No, I definitely agree. I think it's the global elite, the establishment government. They, you know, you look at the likes of George Soros, you know, funding these NGOs, getting all these migrants here. You know, they've been shipping them up from with NGO boats, vessels, like a taxi service up to Europe. I think probably not so much the politicians that you see. They're more kind of puppets, I think. You have the people behind the politicians pulling the strings, the global elite. I think they have a plan. They want to replace Western civilization with the Middle East and cause chaos. So Tommy Robinson, he tweeted a link of the video with you and the Antifa lady, and he said that you were his hero. What do you think of that?
Oh wow. Well, for Tommy Robinson to say that with the work that he's been doing over the years, the grief that he gets, it can be nothing but a compliment. I've got so much respect and admiration for the guy to stand up in the face of everything when everybody's calling him out for being a racist. And when you actually look at what he's talking about in his interviews, he makes a lot of sense, and I can only treat Tommy Robinson with the same credence as I treat you, Peter, yeah? So with the conversations we've had, you're no more racist than Tommy Robinson is.
Yeah.
So for someone to keep calling him that, it insults him and it insults me. I'm flattered, really flattered, for someone of that stature to say that.
One thing probably many people want to know is, well, how did you get red pilled?
How did I get red pilled? Well, through Mr. Alex Jones, Paul Joseph Watson, Stefan Molyneux, Mark Dice. But no, Alex Jones, listen to him every day without fail. I've probably been red pilled probably just since after 9/11.
Okay.
I have many questions.
That's a lot longer than me.
Right. Yeah.
I've not been more red pilled more than since 2014, 2015, really.
Right.
So,
okay.
So you beat me on that one. Yeah, no, I think you hit on a really good thing there with Infowars and Mark Dice and alternative media, because I think when people are growing up, they get brainwashed in the schools, and then when they're grown up, they continue to receive their daily brainwashing from the mainstream media, and I think the alternative media is really important to be able to break that narrative, break the conditioning, as Alex Jones says.
Think for yourself.
So that's a very important thing. I think many people got red-pilled by alternative media. Why don't you think there's more black people in these kind of patriotic movements?
Because they're listening to liberal politicians that are constantly telling them that they're oppressed. It's almost like to keep being told we're not racist, but we have got lots of racism in this country.
Yeah.
I think by nature,
it's kind of they're stuck on the plantation.
In the mind,
Yeah.
they don't think that they should move out of that because that is the status quo, and that's how it'll always be. We'll always be kind of oppressed. That's the way it always is. Not saying everyone thinks like that, but there's a majority of people that do. What I'd love to see is people just thinking for themselves, break out the cognitive dissonance and kind of just go, you know what, instead of just on the way to work listening to that 2-minute news story that is framing it in a certain way, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home, I'm going to tap in the same news story, but I'm going to try and get it from different sources and see if they can build a different picture, or with everything I can then build a more accurate picture, and then from that,
that's the importance of alternative media again.
Exactly. So the alternative media is playing such a big role because they're just showing people a more accurate view of what's going on.
And I think, I'm out here as an independent journalist, alternative media guy, interviewing you. I can bet you 100,000% that the mainstream media would never have this interview with you. And do you think, because in America, race relations aren't too good at the moment. There's lots of Black Lives Matter and so on. Do you think it's possible for people of different races to come together against the threat of Islam and the global elites?
Of course it is.
Like
of course it is.
And
it's whether you want to. Or whether you want to just stay in your little bubble. We can all stay in that little bubble of the mind that says that this guy's racist, that country's racist. But people have just got to break the mindset. Divide and conquer. We're playing into the divide and conquer too easily. It'd be far easier to break it and then all come together and start looking at the people who are actually causing these problems.
And you had the Black Lives Matter in America. For basically black supremacists, I would say. And white people actually ended slavery. It was actually the Tories, the Conservatives in the UK with William Wilberforce that ended slavery. Sure. So, I mean, what's your opinion on Black Lives Matter? I mean, how can their narrative be stopped?
Well, a lot of it is brought to their own doorstep. When I say they, I'm talking about people who have got a bad-minded mentality, whether they be white or black. Figures show, statistics, that police don't generally tend to target black people as such.
I think statistics in America shows that the police, they arrest the same amount of black people that commit crimes. They arrest them proportionately to the amount of crimes they commit, and the same with white people as well. That's the research I've seen.
So it's the same. It's a narrative that's being twisted to kind of infect people's mind into thinking
it's
that
like the gender pay gap.
Yeah, exactly.
the so-called gender pay gap.
Exactly.
It's fake news.
Well, it is.
Yeah, that's one thing. You see all these Antifa communists, wearing the Soviet flag, hammer and sickle, which is, it's more offensive than the swastika. They killed 100 million people. The Nazis killed far less than that. And yet they go with these flags in the street. If you would wear a swastika on the streets, people would straight away just jump on you. But these guys just freely wear the hammer and sickle communist flag on the street.
I mean, that should be just as insulting as someone waving a swastika or doing a goose walk or walking around with an ISIS flag on the back, because the ideals are just as malicious in their own ways. So
I think the reason they're allowed to do it is because they have
aligned.
They have controlled the media and the schools and institutions now for a very long time, which has made it, and they never told about the evils of communism.
But like you say, you only have to look back in history and you see what's happened under communism, and you know, well, hold on, there's got to be something else here.
And they've been genociding people of all different races. You know, China, Mao, the Bolsheviks genocided in the Holodomor loads of Ukrainians. You know, we have Fidel Castro, Cuba, Venezuela. It's
Venezuela.
Yeah.
That's probably the most current one at the moment. It doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live under that system.
No.
You know, and it's funny how these people are in a capitalist system, but yet they want a communist system.
Yeah.
But yet they'll pull out their Apple phone, probably phone a Uber taxi to get themselves home.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, are you being true to yourself there?
Yeah. And do you have anything you'd like to say as well to the Antifa lady that you talked to? Is there anything you'd like to say to her at all?
I love you. What more do you want me to say? No remorse. Didn't mean no offence.
Hopefully you'll come over to the right side.
Hopefully she'll come over to the right side. I thought she'd come out with a silly comment and that was about it really.
Yeah.
I hope she hasn't suffered too much because of it. I hope nobody's done anything silly or said anything silly to her, because I'm sure with the way the video went viral she must have felt it, or maybe she didn't. Maybe she's that hardened that she still feels the way she does.
Yeah.
But no animosity. I just hope she can kind of just wake up and smell the coffee.
Yeah, and hopefully come over to the right side.
Hopefully come over to the right side,
Yeah.
you know, and don't wear black because it doesn't suit you.
Excellent.